because he had like fucking lobster crostinis and shit. And I was like, I gotta eat this.
I gotta eat this. I'll deal with 10 weeks of gout.
Yeah.
10 weeks.
Hi,
of
everybody.
inflammation.
Hello,
hey,
internet.
Hello, internet. Welcome to Gout and About with Dale DeRuiter.
Gout about. Oh my god. I should just do a 10-minute podcast about everything I can eat. Well, this looks delicious, but I'm not supposed to eat it. And then
you say everything you can't eat, but you eat it anyways. You don't.
Well, there's some stuff I don't fuck with at all. I don't fuck with turkey. Because remember, I think the thing that was like the straw that broke the camel's back to give me gout. Remember when we went to the Cloverdale rodeo like 6 years ago?
Yeah, and you got that fucking giant turkey leg. Yeah,
it was like smoked, and I ate it. My body was like, "Don't fucking do this," and I ate half of it, and I was like, "Oh," and I got all like sweaty and gross. I think because of that is what triggered my gout, and then. Well, that and the lobster ravioli I had like the same weekend because I used to fucking eat like a maniac. So ever since then, I can't eat turkey. So I don't fuck at all with turkey. I haven't fucked a shellfish except for shrimp once in a while.
Except for lobster crostinis.
That was the first time I've eaten lobster because here's a hot take. Lobster's not that great. I mean, anything dipped in butter would be fucking good. So
yeah, it's fine. It's one of those foods that just isn't worth the work that you have to put into eating. Like lobster and crab, it's like if you're buying it like already like pre-shelled or whatever, fine, that makes sense. But like I don't know, have I shared my my hot take on how imitation crab is preferable to actual crab? Like
I'd agree.
You can just get the bags of like, what is it, fucking pollock or whatever with a little bit of food coloring added and some sugar. And you're like, this is delicious. Why would I need to spend, can you eat that shit? Like imitation crab?
No, because it's still fish. I'm not supposed to eat fish, but especially shellfish. It's like there's tiers, I guess, for the gout, and like shellfish is at the top. And turkey, apparently, which turkey isn't really even listed. But I believe you that if you took imitation crab and you toasted it to get the top a little bit crispy and then you dipped it in lobster butter, I'm pretty sure that would be just as good.
That's just as good. And I bet like the average person could not tell the fucking difference.
Well, the difference is the fake stuff tastes better on its own.
Does it?
It's a little bit sweeter.
Does it?
Unless,
is it though?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like the effort it takes. Like they're like, here's a nutcracker. Enjoy. Like imagine if someone was like, your meal is nuts. Here's some walnuts. Here's a nutcracker.
Well, Dale, as a matter of fact, I've been told my meal is nuts a number of times throughout my life.
Actually, that's accidentally the best segue in the first thing we're going to talk about.
I haven't introed. Hey, welcome to episode 186 of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the main things that make people mad online this week, explain why they're dumb for caring. I'm Derek Wolin.
I'm Dale DeRuiter.
And speaking of nuts,
can you tell we haven't done this in weeks?
Has it been that long? Wait, where was I last week?
You went home for Thanksgiving, and then I got cellulitis again because on top of gout, I have cellulitis. Well, I got cellulitis really bad 9 years ago from a workplace injury. And apparently, once you get cellulitis really bad, you can get it again. And my foot just got fucking infected. So I had fevers all night. And so I didn't podcast last weekend without you with a guest.
Good. It would have been shitty anyways.
But I lost 8 pounds.
Nice,
cellulitis wins. I was pretty down on it that whole time. I was fucking super sick, and every time I stood up, I got dizzy. I'm like, this kind of sucks. Then today I went to the gym and I weighed myself, and I was like, it's not that bad.
This is true of all great sicknesses. They're great for losing weight if you get super fucking sick.
Yeah.
I'm not advising anyone looking to lose weight go out and do that. But
yeah, don't get cellulitis. It's actually super shitty, and you can get it for the rest of your life.
Can you explain, like, isn't this, I thought it was like blood poisoning, basically, wasn't it?
No, it's like what if it goes to your blood? I think that's called sepsis.
Oh,
I'm
right.
not
Okay.
sure. All those super science people who listen to this, like doctors, are going to be pissed. But cellulitis, I think, is just the tissue gets infected. So it's like I got it because I got hit in the leg with a piece of metal, and then I just like was being fucking tough guy. It's like, hey, I'm a trades guy. This doesn't hurt. Nothing happened. So I left it, and then it got red, and I was like, whatever. And then a couple more days went past. I was like, wow, that red's spreading. I better go to the walk-in. And they're like, okay, take these pills, see what happens. I was like, oh, it's still spreading. And they're like, okay, take these horse pills. And then it was like fucking game over. So after that, I like fucking, it went wild, and I had to go to emergency, and they're like, holy shit. And if a doctor ever says holy shit, it's bad news bears.
Because they are trained to not say that.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to freak you out.
Because if once they say holy shit, you could pretty much sue them. So they try their hardest not to say that. And then I had to I got a stint. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. For people who don't know, it's like usually to get an IV, they just stick like a little needle in, and then they hook a tube
and then
up
they
to
hook
it.
the other tube. Yeah.
But a stint is after they're done poking all of your veins, because that's how many IVs I had. They run like through your elbow or something. They run a tiny tube up your vein, so it goes up your arm and into your chest, so it just fucking leaks the saline.
Wait, you got that this time or
No, that was last time. And then so I had that, and then hooked up to that was a tube that went to like an IV pump that was in a fanny pack that I wore for 18 days. And then every 8 hours, it would just pump a thing of IV into my body. And then I'd have to go every day to get the bag on the IV refilled. But this time I just had to go for IV once a day. I just had to go to the emergency, and then they'd hook me up, and I'd sit there. And like cellulitis is a homeless guy disease, and because that's who gets it, is like junkies and homeless people, because they're the ones who like their shit gets infected from like either shooting needles, or if you get like a cut on your foot and it just sits
anything.
in filth.
Yeah, and then you don't go get medical treatment for it.
Mm-hmm. I got it. I think I got it because I had wet feet, and I went for like a 2-hour walk in running shoes, and my feet were like gross and dirty, and I think that's how I got it.
Yeah.
Or it was because I had a bath with a bath bomb that was like an essential oil / cut
dirty.
It had like dried honeysuckles and shit in it, and I had it.
But unless it was like cut up pieces of fucking dirty metal, or like, oh, take this bacteria infused bath bomb. I don't know that it was that.
Like, I had that bath, and then I was like, oh, my foot's kind of itchy. Oh well, I'll go to bed. And then the next day I was like shivering all night and being like, yeah, I'm fucked up. But the worst part is with COVID around, I'm like, oh, this is COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like the first thing on everybody's mind. It's like you stub your toe and you're like, well, now I have COVID.
It was,
you can't think of anything else.
I was convinced you had COVID. We had our fantasy hockey draft, and Dale was like, I'm not doing a video chat. I'm too sick. And I was like, that's COVID for sure. Dude, that's the only thing that would keep Dale from this.
Yeah, because fantasy hockey draft is like my favorite thing ever. And I was like on the couch with a blanket with my laptop, and I kept like nodding off. So like every once in a while it'd be my pick, and I'd be like, fuck. And I don't know. My team's probably shit, but
that does explain a lot of your picks. So that's a good.
At least this year I have something to blame it on. It's like,
true.
Yeah, it's because I was feverish, not because I'm terrible at fantasy hockey.
Well, glad you're feeling better there, buddy.
Thanks. Moral of the story is I lost weight, so I'm happy.
Good.
But the bad part is I probably should lose weight, because here's the thing. Not only is being fat bad for COVID, but it's bad for all diseases. So if you're one of these people who's overweight like me, I'm obese because I'm over 30% body fat. Cut it out. Stop trying to make everybody call you unfat so it doesn't hurt your feelings, because it just makes your life so much worse to be overweight. Like, it fucks. One of the main things for me, at least, is because every time I get like cellulitis or something, people are like, "Do you have diabetes?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just fat. I don't actually eat that much sugar. I'm just fat." And then they're like, "All right, well, because the thing when you're fat is your circulation to your extremities goes down. So especially your feet, because I don't know, the blood's like, I'm sick of working my way through this fat and back up. Because it's like your blood has to go through all your like fat veins and shit. So it travels way more than it would if you weren't. And so if you do get an infection in your leg or your foot, it takes a lot longer to heal. So lose weight. I'm gonna try. I don't know.
We can have some gym, some mad gym sessions.
Yeah, mad gym sesh. Oh, completely not related to anything. Have you noticed at our gym that a lot of dudes and girls are just wearing Chucks to the gym?
No, is that a thing now?
I think it's a thing. Like it's a thing where people like work out in probably the absolute worst shoes to work out in.
I don't know that they'd be the worst because they have like if you're lifting, they have like really flat, hard. Well, I'm just saying that like, yeah, I wouldn't want to fucking run like 10 miles in them.
Yeah.
But if you're like, if you're lifting, you just want like really flat, hard shoes. And I think Chucks fit the bill for that because they've certainly never won any awards for comfort.
Yeah, they're like an inch thick piece of rubber that hurts your foot. So I guess they would be sturdy. But the worst part is they have that shelled toe that just keeps all the shit, all the sweat and dirt in. So, like I was just saying with the cellulitis, Chucks are not going to be your friend because they're not going to breathe very nice. So you got to get like a nice mesh top Nike or something.
Yeah.
That
don't get
feet breathe.
Don't get dirty. Definitely don't use any bath bombs with fucking honey and lavender or whatever the fuck Dale is blaming his shit on.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I went for a walk 10 miles in the swamp with dirty feet and my feet split open, or it's the bath bomb I used afterwards. I'm gonna say
I'm gonna go with both.
Okay.
We'll never know.
Hey, remember that segue 10 minutes ago?
Oh,
that was all keyed up. Hey, speaking of nuts.
Hey, speaking of eating a dinner full of nuts and cracking them, there has been a groundbreaking development in the world of male contraception. Derek didn't read this, which is fine, so I can explain it. So basically, this lady, what's her name? Rebecca Weiss. It's almost like, isn't that the chick from The Mummy?
No, that was Rachel Weiss.
Yeah.
Rebecca sister.
Weiss. Yeah. Doesn't look exactly like her, which I don't know. So she got some bad news that she had the precursor for cervical cancer, which women can get apparently if they eat birth control pills for too long and shit. And it's actually a big thing that I didn't know because I'm a male and I don't take birth control. So she came up with this device named the COSO, COSO, and the device uses ultrasound deep heat to cause sperm mobility in the testicles to be modified and temporarily cease. But the best thing about this is you're like, that sounds terrible, like ultrasound and heat on your balls. And then you're like, wait, that could be nice. So basically it looks like the bottom 2 inches of a beer koozie, and you just kind of put your boys in there and you blast them with some warm ultrasound, and then it makes you so you shoot blanks for a month.
So I just read this article, and in reading it, I was like, this sounds like you're microwaving your balls, basically. Like just to like make yourself temporarily infertile, but you're blasting your balls with, what is it?
Ultrasound. But it's because the way a microwave makes heat is it speeds up movement of molecules and then they get hot. So this could actually maybe be considered a microwave, but I don't know, because it's like you hear about it, and first, every guy's first reaction to something with his balls is like, "Oh my god!" But then it's like heat, and you dip it in, and then you hear ultrasound. You're like, so it vibrates a bit, and you're like, "What if this
Like,
just feels nice?"
can I get a ultrasound tech to like point out, like show me the insides of my balls on a grainy like black and white screen, like when you go for an ultrasound? Can they show me the different parts of the sperm? Dale, would you?
The best part about this, sorry, I just one more thing about the process of using this. To get it properly set up is you have to use it in front of a doctor for 2 weeks and just try to explain your awkward boners for 2 full weeks. I I want to stick my balls in this because I want to see what it feels like to have ultrasound on your balls.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard Dale DeRuiter say I'd like to stick my balls in this, I'd have so much money.
I mean, what if it's just like sticking your little nutties on like the bass speaker, like flipping a bass speaker over and just letting them rattle?
Isn't that like all that shit? We were told that like too many vibrations or like riding a bike or like all that shit can have like permanent effects on fertility. So I don't know that I'm going to be dipping my balls into this device anytime soon.
Oh yeah, like basically at our age, if you put your balls in a hot tub, it's game over. Like they say, if you wear tighty whities, your sperm counts down. If you put a laptop on your lap, your sperm count. So this is like a combination of both. It's like the radiation from a laptop mixed with the heat of a hot tub, just condensed on your little twigs and your berries, not your
just
twigs.
The berries, not the twigs.
Yeah. So you wouldn't do this, is what you're saying?
I'm saying I wouldn't do it, but if anyone is listening to this episode and they would like to donate $10 to our Patreon, we will purchase one of these and Dale will dip his balls in it. And
are they only $10?
No, they're expensive, but I'm hoping that we have more than one person who wants to watch you microwave your balls on Facebook Live or YouTube or listen to it wherever you get your podcast.
You know what's the fucking thing? The weird thing is, I bet if I put my balls in this and being like, I'm supporting women's rights, men should take contraceptive action too, it wouldn't get pulled. Whereas when we talked about masks that one time, it got pulled.
It did.
Yeah.
And it'll get pulled again. Hey, I'm reading. No. So this ball nuking device is has been has been submitted for the James Dyson Award. So that is an award by. Oh, it didn't win? It?
I thought that's why I saw it, because it won the Dyson.
Oh yeah, it
award.
did win. So the Dyson is going to be selling these alongside their hair dryers and vacuums and now ball nukers. And maybe we can like in the not so distant future, we will walk into a bathroom and instead of condom machines on the walls, they'll just have little ball pods that you can nuke your nuts in to go off and not get anyone pregnant for a couple days.
Could you imagine? You're like, tell your wife, you're like, I'm sorry, babe, I got an STD. It wasn't because I was running around. It's because I used the ball nuker at the bar.
Just like me and all the boys got together and we rubbed our nuts on this this device one after the other. I mean, good. We do need more male. Although, like, honestly, every time I hear about one of these, I'm like, that's fucking great. But like the struggle with male contraceptives isn't that the options out there are particularly like awful or shitty or intrusive for men. It's just you cannot convince guys to do fucking anything, around like safe sex or reproductive health. Like you can't. They could be like, literally, dudes, like just walk into this room and breathe the air for 30 seconds and you will be STD free and not get anyone pregnant for a month. And guys would be like, well, fuck that. Why should I have to do anything? That's a woman's problem. And like,
you know when guys would use that is if they were cheating on their wife. Like if dudes are cheating on their wife and they're like, here's some male contraception, they'd be like, okay, if the reason I'm going to get caught is I accidentally get my side chick pregnant, I'm definitely going to use male contraceptive. So ironically, it ends up being for not noble uses anyway.
Which is also like the worst way to get busted cheating, because not only do you get busted cheating, you also end up with a kid.
Yeah. But then the Hallmark movie starts where it actually ends up being the best thing of your life and it reconnects you with your youth and stuff like that. I'm just trying to look on the right side of this. It is terrible.
As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I appreciate the effort and the thought that goes into these things, and maybe someday we will land on something that men just generally accept and are willing to do. But I don't know that the ball blaster is going to be that thing.
I love how it's just going to be called the ball blaster.
I mean, really, they missed a prime marketing opportunity on that.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of having children, are we done talking about the ball blaster first?
I think so. I mean, I'm sure it'll work its way into a couple more callbacks on this episode. But
oh yeah, this is a good theme. This will probably be the theme of the rest of this podcast forever.
I wish this went more mainstream, and then I could have made this my my Halloween costume and invited people to rub their nuts on me.
Just or the best would be you cut the bottom of beer coasters out and you just write Coso on it and you just start giving them out, and then people are like dipping their balls and be like, all right, baby,
I'm
we're
ready to go.
dogging tonight.
Not
and then
gonna
you're
get
like
you pregnant.
Single-handedly responsible for like every one of your friendships' new pregnancies.
I mean, and here's the thing. We've got how many people died from COVID over the past 2 years? Like, we got some ground to make up, I think, in the population rate. There's a little extra space now. So let's go
blast baby boom.
Let's go poke some holes in some condoms or fake nuke people's balls or whatever it takes to make those babies.
Fake nuke people's balls.
Fake nuke people's balls. What segue do you have next?
Yeah, it's just like you're holding it, then your fingers at the bottom. You're like,
do you feel the heat? Do you feel the heat?
Oh,
do you feel the
warm.
Vibrations?
Yeah, I definitely feel my sperm not working anymore. Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to go have sex with my girlfriend without a condom.
Also, is that immoral to like murder sperm? I mean,
Derek,
what?
If it was immoral to murder sperm,
I'm just saying
it would also be immoral to abandon sperm.
If we're landing, no, that's not. If you abandon them, you're still giving them a chance.
Oh, that's true.
If you put them in a tissue and flush it down the toilet, they could maybe they're happier in the sewer. We don't know.
That's where Atlantis comes from, because you got fish pregnant. That's how mermaids are made. If nobody did that, then there'd be no mermaids.
Fuck.
Oh, right. Back to my segue about children. Something popped into the news out of Dubai, so it's probably it's either crazy human rights infringing or batshit crazy.
Or crazy people spending money on things.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this is the one time that I'm not going to say a gender reveal is stupid, because usually I think gender reveal parties are dumb. But this couple in Dubai incorporated a fucking tiger into it. And of course, everybody online is like, oh, this is bad. You shouldn't have tigers. You shouldn't make the dumbest party ever the most awesome party ever by involving a tiger. So this couple in Dubai, they had like a big black balloon, like this big, and then they had it on a string, and then there's a short video, and the tiger like steps up and he's like playing with it, and he pops it, and then a bunch of pink confetti and powder comes out, and so it's a girl. And that's the gender reveal was a tiger popped a balloon.
What? And people said that was animal abuse?
Yeah. Let me see.
I mean, I could see how it would be animal abuse to like reveal to animals that gender reveal parties exist, and just having them like have to be aware of that is Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I feel abused every time I come across a gender reveal party video, except for the ones that go like horribly wrong, or
the
like
mishaps.
Like the dude like blows his dick off with a firework or something, or like people are just like so fucking dumb. And this is one of those things that like has become ubiquitous, and they're ubiquitous because of shit like social media, and everyone's trying to like one up each other to come up with the most insane fucking way. Honestly, a tiger popping a balloon seems pretty tame to me and not particularly harmful to the tiger. I'm gonna put it out there that I am not a tiger rights activist by any stretch of the imagination. But if, you know, it turns out that tigers as a species are just allergic to latex, then rather than forcing them to wear tiger condoms, I'd like to introduce them to the Koso, the new ball blasting device from Dyson that will render their tiger sperm useless. And yeah, I don't know. What does it say?
Well, first of all, in case anybody's wondering, it says that the tiger was not harmed by the popping of the balloon and the plastic was disposed of properly, which, I mean that's good.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
That wasn't my first worry. Like, I'm not
for
a tree hugger or anything, but when I see a tiger pop a balloon, I'm not like, gee, I hope they gathered all the pieces of that balloon and threw it away.
Yeah, but you can't be, if someone's like, oh, that's harmful to the tiger, then like, well, no, the actual harmful part is when that giant balloon gets washed into the ocean and a blue whale chokes on it and dies. That would be the problem.
I think, hold on, I'm just skimming through it. I just remember people being like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But like, just people's overall wet blanketness. Okay, wait, here's where it says, oh yeah, not all users were sold on the idea of using a wild animal for personal pleasure. I mean, it's not like they fucked the tiger. It just popped a balloon.
Yeah, also, sorry if you've ever like fucking ridden a horse or eaten a steak or watched Dale, give me a sport that animals play.
Horse polo.
Yeah, horse polo, or like I'm trying to think, it's like fucking just like animals. Can we stop? No, not that animals play themselves, but like the animals can be involved. I don't know.
Elephant soccer.
Yeah, that's another one.
The
like
cutest.
We gotta abandon this fucking illusion that like animals are our equals on Earth and that we can all coexist peacefully and that animals have the same rights as humans do, because they fucking don't. And even if they did, I'm sure there are plenty of humans who have begrudgingly taken part in a gender reveal party. What makes this tiger so fucking special? Get out there, pop the balloon, pretend you're fucking happy about whatever shitty sex the kid is, and then go back to your life.
We have to keep putting tigers through degrading stuff like this. Be like, see, get any good ideas about rising up and overtaking humanity? You better not, because we'll make you do gender reveal stuff.
Yeah, because we'll make you pop balloons. You want to be the top species? Guess what? You're going to develop a social media site that makes you fucking stupid and makes you have to fucking put confetti into a goddamn idiot balloon and shoot a firework into your own dick so that a bunch of strangers can celebrate whatever sex your kid is. That's what it's like being at the top of the food chain. Would you like to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, people were just like, oh, this belongs in the wild. It's like, yeah, I bet the tiger's loving just swatting balloons and getting fed steaks. Not everything wants to live in the fucking
a tiger in the wilds of the United Arab Emirates. Let's just set it loose in the desert and see how well it does. You fucking dummies.
Yeah, so that was it. I don't know. It's just like people are like, oh, you can't have this in the wild, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I guess just get giraffes to do everything right now, because giraffes are like the one animal that always seem like, you go to a zoo and you see a giraffe and it's not like, oh, I'm pretty bummed out to be here. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm in a zoo.
I've seen some depressed giraffes before.
Derek,
no, you didn't. For real, man. The one, if you go to the Greater Vancouver Zoo is,
don't do that,
without a doubt the worst fucking zoo I've ever been to in my life, because a lot of zoos you go to and you're like, okay, it's shitty that we're keeping these animals in captivity, but like they have like big enclosures and they're generally well taken care of, and like they seem happy ish and they can at least pretend. Whereas you go to the Greater Vancouver Zoo and it's just a bunch of fucking like pens in the middle of a field, and all the animals are fucking depressed and none of them has enough space. And it's like I've been to that zoo 3 times and I've never not walked out of there being like, well, now I'm going to be an animal rights activist. Like I need to, because this zoo should not fucking exist. It's awful.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. Don't go to that zoo. But lots of zoos, I mean, people are just generally like, oh, we shouldn't keep animals in captivity anymore. But like, where are we going to put the ones like, we need space to build the fucking home you live in? Where are you going to put the animals that are displaced by that? Every time we build a new subdivision, there's fucking, like, in Canada at least, like bears and moose and whatever else lives in the wilderness here. We had a fucking pack of like wild coyotes terrorizing people in Stanley Park for like months this summer. Those are animals that have been displaced building the shit that you live in. So if you really want these animals to all be like set free and roaming the planet freely, then you gotta give up your home. Sorry.
Yeah, playing sad Sarah McLachlan music isn't going to give these animals their home back, because they're not going to like rip down houses and put the trees back. I kind of like zoos because I like looking at animals. It's weird because it's a double-edged sword, because I like seeing animals, but I know sometimes they're not like they're not living their best life in the zoo. But shouldn't we just get crazy big and awesome zoos instead of just getting rid of zoos altogether?
Yeah, more impressive zoos.
Like, one of the things that they do is they bring animals back from the brink of extinction, and animals pretty much universally live longer in captivity than they do in the wild, because they don't get fucking murdered by other animals.
By other fucking animals. We're helping. What we need to do is just like make zoos bigger and more impressive. And then what we should do is, if you have a zoo, on the board of that zoo, every species of animal should get a seat at that table. It can be like fucking Noah's Ark. And then when you're making decisions about the zoo, all these animals get a vote, and we can make sure that we're doing. And even if they just do it for publicity, and it's like, well, the animals fucking voted for this, it's what they want. They want smaller cages.
All you got to do to sell me on any idea is take a lion, sit it at a chair, put a little nerd glasses on it, and like a little book to make it look like it's making a decision, and I'm fucking 100% in.
That's it. That is how we make most of the decisions regarding the editorial content for Outrage Factors.
Like, imagine if they had Jurassic Park, but it was just like lions and tigers, bears. Oh my.
Don't do it.
I couldn't help it. Yeah, just have all the crazy like wild animals that we have and just put them in a big park, and then I could go in that little bubble that those kids were in.
Don't they literally have those? They're like fucking like wilderness, like safari parks or whatever, where you can like drive through and you're in a vehicle.
Africa, Derek.
And like, okay, well,
they don't like white people there anymore. They've had their fill. They're like,
I don't know that they
done
ever
with you.
I don't know that they ever did, Dale. I don't
know
that
expressing their feelings a little more openly now, let's say. Which, all the power to them. You should have control of your own country, and I am not going to go there because I don't feel like I don't want to go where I'm not invited. And if they don't want to have fat Canadian tourists just go there and be obnoxious, then I'm not going to go. Also, I'm not rich enough that they'd welcome me. They wouldn't be like, yeah, no, just come and spend all your money. I'm like, I don't got much money. If I actually came there, that'd be all my money, and then I'd be poor. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, you could just stay home. And
I don't have any money at all. What else? What I gotta level with you. I've completely quit social media. So I'm not on.
Congratulations.
So it was like 2 weeks ago when it was like the Facebook whistleblower thing came out, and I was like, oh fuck, that's pretty bad. And then
that's so like we already knew all that.
Yeah.
Like that Renee DeResta with the IRA, like the Internet Research Agency. She was like, yeah, people are doing all this. But yeah, that was, I guess it was like a step above hearing it from the actual person insider or whatever.
Well, it was just like knowing all the internal discussions that happened at Facebook, and they were like, well, as long as we keep making more money, we're just going to allow this shit to happen. And then like, I think it was like the day after that, there was that Facebook outage. And I was like, oh yeah, it was like Facebook and Instagram went down.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking sweet, Facebook and Instagram are down. And I was like, if I'm happy about this and I'm like, okay, like life is better without it, maybe I should just take a break from it for a while and see what that does. So I'm totally off social media.
Ooh,
so you're gonna have to tell me what people are mad about now, because I have no exposure to it. I go on Reddit a lot, but people just I don't know what it is about Reddit. People don't seem to be as angry there, or they're
actually, I feel like Reddit's kind of getting shittier, but that might just be the Vancouver subreddit.
It could be, yeah,
subreddit, because I don't mean to shit where I eat, but Vancouver social media is the problem because everybody's so bitter here.
It's the fucking worst.
Look, if you're that sick of the rain and not being able to afford anything, then fucking move to Calgary. Quit complaining about it on social media. You don't have to stay here. Andrea's going to be upset if she sees this because she wants to move.
And you're like, I'm insisting we stay here.
I'm like, I love the rain. I get to listen to sad music and be all mopey, like just snap back into my emo self from high school. And it's like, with all the rain, it's a rainforest. So I'm like, this is dope. And I go take pictures of trees and stuff. Although sometimes I go for a rainy walk and my foot gets infected. So it does kind of come bite me in the foot.
You know, peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys.
Yeah. That whole thing, like, it was funny because I don't want to sound like a guy who is bragging about how much he doesn't notice things, but I didn't even notice Facebook was down because it happened while I was at work.
Ooh, I'm Dale. I didn't even notice Facebook was down.
Facebook is the one social media I don't check while I'm at work because I've turned the notifications off forever ago because it's like too much. So it's like when I get home, I'll check my Facebook notifications just to see stuff like for the podcast or like Instagram or what's the chat one that they have?
WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. I'm like, I never get anything from that. Like if I'm at work, I'm checking like Twitter sometimes, maybe Reddit. Oh, Facebook chat. I guess I would have noticed because that's the only thing I really use Facebook for is the chat. But I was like at work and it's like, I'll check on my break like for 15 minutes and then I have a half-hour lunch. And then it's like other than that, from 7 to 3, I'm never on my phone at all because I
don't think your boss has watched this.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't think But yeah, so I didn't notice it was down, and then everybody was complaining. The only reason I know was because everybody was complaining about it on Twitter. They're like, I can't believe Facebook went down, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, crazy. And then I was like, yeah.
You were like,
kind of sucks anyway.
I mean, it does. And like, especially lately, it's fucking just like people. I don't even know if this is still going on. Hopefully it stopped the minute I left, but people just like posting so much shit about fucking vaccines and
that's still there.
Is it? Yeah, it's still going on?
Still on Facebook. People still are using the one group you're sanctioned and allowed to hate openly. They're still flexing their anger muscle at like dunking on anti-vaxxers all over Facebook.
Well, it was both ways. It was like the people being like, these fucking like long ass rants being like, fuck unvaccinated people, I fucking hate them, they're all so stupid. And then unvaccinated people being like, well, I saw a YouTube video that said the vaccines have these ingredients. And it's just like, there's only so much of that like back and forth. It's like, okay, if you're pro-vaccine, which I am, or anti-vaccine, you're not gonna convince the other side of anything.
No, it's
just,
we're
not
past impasse at this point. It's like there's a point where you're like, all right, agree to disagree, and that point was a year ago.
Yeah, like exactly. Like it's just like you're not going to convince them to get the vaccine. They're not going to convince you that the vaccine is going to, I don't know, like microwave your nuts or whatever they're saying it does to you now. And like it does not matter what evidence is out there for any of this shit. However you felt about vaccines going into the COVID-19 pandemic is how you're going to feel about vaccines coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. And none of what you feel or think or say or do is going to change a fucking thing about anything. Like that's just
pretty much.
That's it.
Like, I want to hear more from the people like me who are like, oh, there's a vaccine. Yeah, I'll take it. Fuck it, whatever. Probably better than getting it. And then I took it and it was like, where's all the like fucking people who don't care either way, who are like, yeah, I took it because I don't care enough to not take it, but I'm not passionate about the fact that I took it and think other people should get it. It's like, yeah, I took it so that I wouldn't have to hear people talk about it.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say the one thing I am like legitimately angry about was when the government of Canada in like the early days of the vaccine rollout in Canada, they were like, fucking get whatever vaccine is offered, get the first one that's available to you, you get that. And then they waited a little bit more and they were like, okay, if you got that shitty vaccine, you have the option of like mixing and matching vaccines now. And like we've done there's been some studies and like it looks like things are generally okay for that. But a lot of people were encouraged by their government to go out and like mix and match vaccines. And wait, you weren't a mix and matcher? You got 2 AZ, right?
I'm AZ all the way, baby.
AZ all the way. But a lot of people who did go out and mix and match vaccines are now finding themselves unable to, like the US just announced that they're going to be reopening their border finally after a fucking year and a half on November 8th. But because, and this is true in a lot of countries, people who have mixed and matched vaccines are not recognized as like fully vaccinated. So all these people who, and it doesn't really help the government that's saying, hey, go out and get vaccinated if you have a situation like this that comes up and it's like, oh, the government told us to do this and it turns out they were fucking wrong, or they didn't think it through, or they didn't have any foresight about it whatsoever. It doesn't help their case to like win over those vaccine hesitant or skeptical people because they kind of shit the bed on that. So
yeah, no, exactly. And then like now finally they're like, okay, AstraZeneca people can come in. And so at least there's that headache gone, because for a long time it was like you and me who both have AstraZeneca. It was going to be like, yeah, we're not recognizing this in other countries, but now they're like, fuck yeah, we might as well. So it's like, I'm with you. Like it just makes it look like, well, if you made that mistake, what other mistakes?
Yeah, what other dumb shit have you done? Lots. I hate to break it to people, but governments are not infallible, surprisingly. Yeah,
no, the government is people. Soylent government is people.
It's made of people.
And every person is a person and they fuck up all the time. And like, I mean, in their defense, they like, as bad as it's been, it's not nearly as bad as people thought it was going to be. Like they thought it was going to be like, remember at the very beginning in China when they just showed like hallways full of dead bodies and shit, just and like scared the fuck out of everybody? We're like, it's gonna be Armageddon. So they're like, everybody get vaccinated with whatever you can. This shit's gonna be fucking real. Oh my god. And then it kind of like, probably because we all got so many vaccinations right away, it kind of turned out to not be as dramatic as it was. Like it was pretty bad in New York when they had to stick dead bodies in trucks and stuff. That was pretty bad, but we didn't get any of that up here in Canada.
No, but you were looking at that, and I think people were just like generally traumatized by that, and they're still kind of riding that like trauma wave because like people were fucking scared to death then, and it's like, even like as the virus has like evolved, and like I think generally like fewer people are dying now, and we've developed the vaccines, and they've developed treatments outside of the vaccines that can like help keep people alive. That's not to say that like people aren't still dying, because they are, and it's a tragedy, but a lot of people are still stuck in this like, we should be very fucking afraid of COVID, and like any misstep or any wrong thing or any wedding or gathering of people could turn into a super spreader event and we could all be dead again. It's like, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Like obviously this virus can like mutate and do what the fuck ever, but like it feels like a lot of those people are still like, they're approaching today's like our relationship with COVID now with like what it looked like back in those early days, and they're still scared shitless, and they have a tendency to react to shit based on that versus like what reality. And like I'll still pop onto Twitter from time to time and see like people are always like retweeting stories from like ER doctors being like, oh, our hospitals in Edmonton are totally fucking full and people are dying. And it's like, okay, well, is that true? Because like, can you? I don't actually know because I'm not in Edmonton. Can you walk into a hospital in Edmonton right now and get care? Like Dale, you went to a hospital multiple times. Did it look like the place was overrun with COVID patients and people were dying, or
no? What happened was, because I went Thanksgiving weekend, so the Saturday I went, it was fucking empty, and I just strolled in. And then on Monday or Tuesday of the long weekend, after the long weekend was done, it was fucking slammed because it was all the people who wanted to go after they got back home from their friends and stuff. But it's not fucking overrun with COVID from the one hospital I went to. But I do got to say one thing. Like, everybody's freaking out about how BC's and whatever's ICU beds are almost full and stuff. That's 155. Why the fuck does the province only have 155 ICU beds? Like, if a fucking tsunami or Vancouver snaps off and falls into the ocean, like everybody keeps saying it's going to, is 150 beds going to be enough to fucking address this natural disaster? Fuck no. So instead of it being like, hey, the ICU beds are fucking full, let's just make fun of anti-vaxxers and think that'll solve the problem. How about we just get more ICU beds, or start building a fucking hospital, or get more staff, or all these other fucking problem solving things we could do?
I mean, not to rebut your point, which was excellent, but if we add more beds to Vancouver and those fall into the ocean when the earthquake happens, we're basically wiping our ass with money, Dale. We're making hospital beds for Atlantis. Is that what you want?
All those fucking sperms you shove down the toilet will be comfortable at least. That's even worse, because of those 150 ICU beds, how many of those are in Vancouver? Like, how many major hospitals do we have? We have like the
majority of them.
Yeah.
Probably as many as the rest of the province outside of like the Lower Mainland probably has like just as many hospitals as or hospital beds as everything else outside of the Lower Mainland.
Yeah, there's like the Lower Mainland's hospitals, then what, like Kamloops, Kelowna, and maybe one or two on the island. And if the fucking tsunami comes, the island's gone, the Lower Mainland's gone, and then what's everybody gonna do? Like, go lay in a hospital bed in Kamloops and Kelowna?
Waterfront Kamloops and Kelowna.
There you go. I wonder if a tsunami would wash away the pulp mill smell out of Kamloops.
That might actually make it a desirable place to live were that to happen.
It might make stuff grow there besides sagebrush and jackpine.
It's true. Okay, we got time for one more story. What do you want to do?
We can either talk about the Pandora's Papers or Rent a Fat Person.
I mean, wait, I want to do well, let's do the Pandora Papers, because that's another one of those things where they were like,
been 2 weeks, and it's like nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because when the Pandora's Papers came out, they're like, all these world leaders are stashing their money away and they're buying all this stuff. And I was like, oh shit, tell me more. And they're like, the King of Jordan. I'm like, don't care. Fuck off.
But I mean, Trudeau was on that list too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, absolutely. They fucking. This is like a follow up to the Panama Papers, which were released in 2016, 18, 17, 16.
I think 18.
Anyway, somewhere around there. And it was much of the same thing. There was like outrage about it for a week, and everyone was like, "Fuck, this has to end. We're so mad about this." And then it was like, "Oh, now I'm mad about how Britney Spears is treated by her father instead." And you know, I think it says a lot about the outrage cycle of things in that like people just aren't generally more upset about this. But yeah, this just in, rich people are pretty immoral and unethical when it comes to making sure they continue to stay rich.
Yeah. And the super rich don't just get super rich by hard work. They do underhanded shit and pass money around.
And basically, if you aren't already rich, you will probably never be rich because the people who are already rich are taking basically just like a larger and larger and larger cut of the world's wealth and using their wealth that already exists to generate more wealth. And the rest of us peasants are stuck arguing on Facebook about whether we should get a fucking vaccine or not while we eat our fucking, you know, whatever. What do middle class people eat? I don't even know. Like,
giant turkey legs.
Well, giant
rodeo.
turkey legs and fucking fake crab meat and fucking nuke their balls so that they don't get their wife pregnant and have another child because children are expensive.
Oh yeah, it's like they're like, yeah, you better nuke your balls so you don't fucking end up spending all this money. Meanwhile, we're gonna just dump fucking 150 million through Putin's mistress and buy fucking yachts and shit. Do you remember what Trudeau was? I didn't know Trudeau was on that list. I saw like a quick breakdown and it was all like foreign dignitaries and shit that I didn't care about because it's like, well, yeah, foreign people in the government of foreign countries. I'm dancing around this. Dancing. I almost said something terrible. What I mean
don't do that.
In foreign governments, like Jordan, is it ruled by a royalty or is it like
maybe Trudeau wasn't in there?
Anyways, what I was gonna say was people like Putin and the King of Jordan. Yeah, there was no doubt that they're doing illegal shenanigans with money. I mean, Putin just changed all the laws and got rid of term limits so he could be president or I don't know, fucking Russian czar for the rest of his life. And then he keeps poisoning anybody who runs against him. So it's like, oh, he's doing underhanded shit with his money? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't care about the Pandora Papers. Also, what a terrible name. Like Panama Papers was awesome because that song Panama by Def Leppard. But Pandora Papers just makes it sound like some fucking obnoxious like Harry Potter shit. Like, oh, the Pandora Papers.
Oh, Pandora's box is open. Apparently, there were hundreds of Canadians on that. I don't think Trudeau was, so I wish to recant my earlier statement lest we get sued. For
you take back any ill communication about my favorite hairdo.
Shut the fuck up, there. But yeah, like rich people are just like, if there's a loophole that exists for a rich person to pay less money or keep more money, they have already found that and are using it. And if it doesn't exist, they will pay to create one. And that's all you need to know.
Yeah, like it's not like they're using lobbyists to get rid of bureaucracy and paying taxes right in front of our eyes. So you'd think they'd be doing even more shit in secret. So before we go, I want to close out with this rent a fat person thing, because I brought it up and it's funny. and it's my retirement. It's if I ever lose my job, I'm fucking moving to Japan where this rent a fat person exists. So this guy started a company called Debu, which is basically Japanese combination of the two words Debu, which is fat, and Karuru, which is rent. And so they have, if you're over 220 pounds, which this guy is, you are considered a fat person able to be rented. They also have over 125 kilograms and 150 kilograms, and I don't know the math on that, but I imagine, okay, 150 would be 330 pounds. Does that sound right? Yeah, yeah, because 220 is 100, so add 110 of that. That's pretty heavy. But anyways, the funniest thing about this is, so the thing that Japan has from an outsider's perspective is it's like all the shit is either insanely cute and innocent or like the dirtiest pervert shit ever. And this is like one of those things where at first you're like, oh, rent a fat person. That seems weird. And then he gives the reasons. The guy who runs the company, he's like, here are some reasons why you might rent a fat person. So I'll read those to you. It's like, I want help eating a crazy large portion menu item at a restaurant. I mean, you could just not order a crazy large, but that's fun. Like,
yeah, but what if you're going into a place where like they have one of those ridiculous like food challenges where if you and your eating partner finish like fucking 30 pounds of wings in 10 minutes, then you get your picture on a wall and a free t-shirt.
I guess that's exactly what he meant. I was just thought it would be funny to like watch a fat person eat a whole cake. And it's like, since you're renting them, it's not mean to do to be like, here, eat this giant amount of cake and I'll watch. Another reason is you want help picking out a present for someone who's heavy set. I mean, I guess all fat people are the same, so they would know what present you should buy someone.
Yeah. Yo, what do fat people like these days? Food?
It'd be like if I had to get you a present and I went and found a bald person.
Yeah,
I was like, you're bald? Derek's bald. What do you like?
What do bald people like? Wigs? Hats? What is it?
Fast cars? I never saw that coming. You're doing cosplay. Do you want someone to dress as the heavyset character from the series? I mean, I guess. I want someone to stand by me when I take a picture so I look thinner. It's like, that sounds insanely mean, but it's one of the reasons he listed. So
in related news, that's why Dale and I have been friends for 30 years.
You should be paying me $20 an hour like these fat people are getting paid for that. I have a problem that I want advice from a heavyset person on, which
not that heavyset people don't offer great advice, but like, what?
I was going to say, like, the only thing that I could give you advice on that's unique because I'm heavy is health problems, like I explained at the beginning of this podcast, where if you're heavy, you should stop being heavy so you're healthier. The best one is the last one. It says, I want someone to play on a seesaw with me. Which is
okay.
That's where you get like that whole, like, oh, isn't Japan so cute? And it's weird, like there's no list, there's nothing on this list that's like, I want a live action mukbang video where I watch you eat a whole bunch of food while I masturbate.
That is probably where the majority of these hires end up participating. But
people are gonna watch so many people masturbate. That's terrible.
We've all been there.
Also, $20 an hour? That's not very much.
I mean, it's not, considering, $20 an hour to like do labor, like, no, but $20 an hour to sit on a fucking seesaw or to tell some fucking rube what heavyset people like. I mean, there's worse ways to make money, I'm sure.
I'm gonna start going to fucking fan cons, and like, you know how it's like you pay a guy $20 or whatever to take your picture with a guy that was in Star Trek. I'm gonna go there and I'll be like the fat guy to make you look thinner. I'll be like, give me $20 or you can take a picture with me. You look skinnier.
Do you want to look skinnier?
Hey boy, you want to look skinny next to me? Give me $20 so you can take a picture.
You would have to like at least double in size before you could offer that service.
Yeah. Because I'm boned because I'm over the threshold, but I carry it like all around my body. So
yeah,
I
you don't
look like I don't look, what is it? Debu? I don't look like
Debu.
Debu?
Yeah.
Debu.
Yeah.
I don't look Debu.
Debu.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't look particular. I mean,
I probably do it. That's my like fucking
I might
body
still hire you for some seesaw fun. Just like, launch me into the stratosphere, Dale.
But actually, if you go by the physics of seesaws, if you're renting a fat person, then you'd also actually have to be fat yourself because seesaws work on the same weight on both sides.
Maybe they just want to sit up, like raise 3 feet off the ground for half an hour. They're like, there's no other way for me to do this.
Or they want to take that awkward family photo where there's just one giant fat person on one side and the whole family on the other side of the seesaw.
That is actually a good fucking use case.
Oh my God. You, Kate, and Noah and me will go find a seesaw and see if we can make that work.
Yeah, okay, let's try it.
Like, I don't think the weight would kind of work, but I could sit further back on the seat. And then I could get like cartoony fat guy clothes and just be like, oh,
I made $20 an hour to do this.
And the best part is it's totally my idea. And then we take the picture, we post it online, and everybody would flame you for being a dickhead. Be like, I can't believe you made Dale look so fat.
Yeah,
that's so mean.
And I'll just point to this episode. Be like,
and then they'll be like,
it was his idea.
Okay, I'm not listening to a podcast. You're right.
Well, I'm not going to listen to that. I wanted to just do this dancing grannies thing.
Okay.
I don't really care, but I just
now
want to say,
that you brought it up, we have to talk about it. Otherwise, people will be like, "What's this dancing grannies thing?"
Well, because I've seen this in I've actually seen these people like in the flesh in China, and they're fucking amazing. It blew my mind. It was, I'm the host now. Where did Dale go? This is awkward. I sure hope he comes back. I hope he comes back to this podcast because it's just me. Anyways, I'll just keep talking. So I had actually Dale. Got it.
Okay. So I accidentally closed the window for that video. We're not going to live stream the end, but I abandoned. I was like, I went to switch between windows, and since I'm apparently a boomer, it said, this is still live streaming. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then I clicked on that and then it booted me out. And I was like, oh shit. And then Derek was still in there. And then I was like, oh, I should start a meeting again because close Zoom close Zoom right down. Maybe I hit the little X or something. So I opened Zoom and then it closed that other window that Derek was still doing on whatever. So if you were watching, I guess I shouldn't even explain it. I'll put on a note on the Facebook that to watch the very end, you got to watch the actual video.
Yeah. We've been doing these episodes for 186. And I was just like completely fucked up by you leaving. I was like, what am I going to do? It's just me. I'm not a successful solo podcast host. Like Dale here. It is the
hardest thing. I got Andrea to do it with me because I kept being like, what was I talking about? And then you're like clearing your throat and stuff for 2 minutes. But yeah, no, it's weird because podcasts with like you and me doing a podcast is so fucking easy because we're just like talking and playing grab ass and shit. But as soon as it's like just you're like, you don't know if what you're saying is landing or whatever. So it's like I'll say something and then I can look at your face and be like, was that a dumb thing to say? Or
am I an idiot?
Super smart this time?
Am I an idiot?
Yeah. So
what was I saying?
You were talking about the singing grannies in China.
Oh yeah, I just want to say that the singing, like I saw the singing grannies every time I went to China, and I was like, it's like one of those kitschy things where I was just like, this is really fucking cool because it's just a bunch of like old Chinese ladies like dancing their asses off to bump in techno music. And I thought, so I saw them pop up in the thing, and I was like, fucking sweet. It's an article about the dancing grannies, but it's also about how there have
everybody
been,
hates them apparently.
Well, yeah, let me because apparently they are like people get. Oh, I will also want to say my wife interrupted my the podcast to let me know that Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian are engaged. Breaking news. There you go. Celebrity news.
Oh, lovely. I can't wait to look to more fucking Blade the Vampire Hunter 2 photo shoots of them kissing like they've never kissed before. Like the Met Gala photo. Like they looked worse than when I kissed a girl in the gravel pit in grade 10.
That is what it looked like. Okay, noisy grannies. What do we got? Oh, we're no way down back on the Tiger article. Noisy grannies. What did they say? Yeah, apparently most people are too scared to confront the groups of middle-aged and older women who take over public parks and sports grounds to exercise along to music. Apparently they're like what? It's hard for them to stop them?
Yeah, like it's from what I got was like they would just go to a park and blast techno music and everybody else is like, fuck. And then there's like this like respect for your elders thing in China where people were too scared to be like, get out of here. But like apparently there's a couple confrontations where people were yelling at each other and then some people called the police. But since like in the article explains how in China the many outweigh the few, like the needs of the many outweigh the few. So there's like, since there's like 30 grandmas and there's like maybe like 5 people who are upset about it, the cops are like, yeah, there's 30 of them, there's 5 of you, we're not doing anything, beat it. And then there was like another time where people were in the middle of a soccer game and this giant group of grannies just came and like forced them off the field so that they could do their like dancing granny thing.
Yeah, apparently they are quite the public scourge. Like they've been getting into fucking scraps with people. And this is like for real. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like an army of like middle-aged or like older Asian women who get together to dance. So and like reading the article, I was like, fuck, they're like a legit gang, like a public menace, where like they're roughing people up, and the people now, the concerned citizens, have to like fight back against this marauding gang of old Asian grannies.
Yeah. And I like how in the article, like at the very end, there's like, they did find one solution where the grandmas just wore earbuds. And you're like, nobody thought of this before?
Nobody.
Just wearing headphones.
So like
having a silent disco.
Yeah. People, which like, have you been to one of those before? They're so fucking dirty and awkward.
No. I would never go to one. If I'm going to a fucking rave, it's going to be loud and we're going to be on drugs like in the 90s before we knew everything was bad.
Yeah, we're still live. What are you doing? Interrupting my shit much? Thanks.
Yeah. What, did they get engaged again?
Hello to all my fans.
Hello.
Dale said hello back, implying he is one of your fans.
I am. I'm a K fan.
Yeah, but like apparently
K-Bay.
people were
K-Bay.
going K-Bay. Don't, let's not make that a thing.
Tell her I said that right now.
No, I will absolutely.
So she jokes about it in your presence all the time.
No, I'm not doing that.
Do it. Tell her.
Babe, Dale said he's a K-Bay. Fuck. She laughed.
That's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
Apparently people were like going through lengths of like, one guy was throwing feces out of his window it says that in the article, like to fight back against the marauding grannies, one man threw feces from his apartment at them, which like, yeah, they could have just done the silent disco thing.
Dude, throwing feces is a terrible offense because it's like, maybe you hit one person, then you're like, well, obviously he's out of shit now. A human being can only shit so much.
Also, if you throw feces at someone, only one person is guaranteed to get shit all over them, and that's you. That is you. You are the person getting shit on yourself. You don't know that you're gonna hit them. It's in your hands. It's on you.
And speaking of dumb activities that will make you sick, handling feces is definitely one of those. Like you'll get the Black Plague or something.
Anyway, what's happening with the grannies? Oh, silence by device that disables speakers.
Yeah, and then that's it. They're like, yeah, you get no closure on this fucking thing.
It's like an EMP. I mean, I liked it when I was there as a tourist. I was like, oh, I even shot a little video of them.
Yeah.
I'll post it sometime.
It's cute thinking of old ladies dancing to techno in public.
Yeah, and it's like how they get their exercise and shit too, right? But like, I agree that the line between exercise club and destructive gang is a very thin one, and now the grannies must be stopped. They've gotten too powerful for their own good.
And to me, the most important part is what music are they listening to? Like if they're listening to fucking like Jock Jams or Dance Mix 95, I am all for it. But if they're listening to like mumble rap or shitty new music, I am like, this is a scourge.
No,
we need to get rid of it.
It's just we should start like a men's public dance troupe where we only dance to Sandstorm by Debu.
Nice.
For like 20 minute, half an hour extended mix exercise sessions where it's just Sandstorm over and over and over again, and we get like 40 or 50 dudes. Yeah, we would. It'd be worth it, though.
There would be like, there was a knife attack and 20 people stabbed 50 dudes, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Was it West Side Story? And it would be like, no, it was these guys listening to Darude and having the best time of their entire life, because dancing with 50 of your friends to Darude in public, I can't think of anything better than that. Although, and not being included. Okay, here's a question for you.
Okay.
You're in the park doing park stuff, and 30 dudes just roll up and they start dancing to Darude. Do you A, get super mad and try to fight them, or B, become one of the dudes?
Join in 100%. Yeah. That's our tribe.
It's weird because there's certain music, if it's like Darude and you hear it, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking into this. It's like, I don't know, you have to like name some like effect of it, like called the America's Funniest Home Videos effect, where they used to like go around Chicago playing like classic music and people would just dance to it. There's like, if you're in public and you play music, people are either going to dance to it or hate it. And there's like some music like mumble rap or gangster rap or country where people like turn that shit off right now.
Yeah.
Or like Darude or Saturday Night or Cotton Eye Joe. People are like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's dance it up.
Cotton Eye Joe is another good one. Like definitely underrated.
So dude, I was listening to Cotton Eye Joe like 2 weeks ago, so loud in my car, and I forgot how loud it was. And I pulled up to the stoplight. Blaring, and then I look around and people are like, it's like at first they're like, are you listening? Oh, he's listening to Cotton Eye Joe.
It's not it's a hard song to mistake for anything else. Like you would know. You would know.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you know that it's a cover song as well?
What?
And Nina Simone sang the original, and it's like one of the most depressing songs ever because it's about like slavery and racism and stuff, and you're like,
what?
Or is it? No, I don't know, but it's like, it's a sad song. Listen to it after this podcast and you'll be like, this kind of changes the mood of everything.
Are you sure though?
Yeah. I'm not sure it's about slavery. I might have misspoke because lots of Nina Simone songs are so brutal and emotional that you're like, well, this is just too much.
They really are. No matter what they're about.
Like Strange Fruit. Is she the one who sang that?
I think
that
so.
song is fucking. That's probably the heaviest song in existence. All right, super downer. See ya.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for ending this on an uplifting note there, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, internet.
Ooh.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online and explain why they're done for caring. I've been your co-host, Derek Bolin. You could not follow me on the internet ever fucking again, so fuck you for trying.
I was like a meth come down. I'm Dale DeRuiter. You can follow me still on Twitter because I have nothing better to do with my life. At SuperDaleBot on Twitter, OutrageFactPod on Twitter, Outrage Factory on Instagram, Outrage Fact Pod on Facebook. Find us on YouTube.
TikToks? Are you still doing the talks?
Yeah, I haven't done TikToks in a couple weeks. I'll upload little clips from here just to give you a wet your beak, if you know what I mean.
Wet your beak.
Wet your beak.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends all about us. And
tell your friends.
What else? Anything else? Merch? Buy some merch?
Yeah, I have all the merch up. It's at the Redbubble store. I'll put a link in the show notes. Sorry, I just do it that way because it's the easiest, because you could just buy it and then they make it and send it to you instead of like sending me something that you want. And then I have to like fucking track down people who make shit and then mail it. And if I could get my hands dirty, but if you buy it from Redbubble, we do get a piece of it. So you are still supporting us. I know some people are like, I don't want to buy it from here because then you guys don't get nothing, but we still get, we get a sliver, which is nice.
Sliver, which is enough.
Just the ego boost of knowing that people are wearing stuff from this podcast is more than money will ever give us.
Yeah. But also, if you want to give us money, we'll take that too. Yeah.
We do appreciate the attention boost.
Yeah.
It makes us feel good.
But also the money boost. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And until next week,
stay angry.
Yeet.
Yeet.